Pass, Curse of the Dead Mountain. Told by Shadowed Tales. February 1st, 1959. In the heart of the Ural Mountains, the silence of a snow-covered hell echoed. A group of young engineering students and experienced mountaineers set out toward Gora Otorten, the Mountain of the Dead. They were smart, capable, and well-prepared. But that night, nature would not forgive them. The camp was set up, the stove lit, notebooks and journals organized inside the tent. The sound of the wind blended with the howling of the snow, and the sun set for the last time at the foot of that mountain. No one knew that with that sunset, the fate of 9 souls was sealed. Mankind has always wanted to explore the unknown, but there are places where stepping in means sacrificing your soul. Dyatlov Pass is one of those places. The local Mansi people call it Kholat Shakal, the Mountain of the Dead. According to their legends, it's a forbidden place where restless spirits dwell. They say anyone who enters unprepared never returns. But the Dyatlov group ignored those warnings. Led by Igor Dyatlov, 9 young hikers ventured deep into the dark forest. One of them, Yuri Yudin, had to turn back due to illness. He didn't know it then, but that illness would save his life. 8 days passed, blizzards, freezing winds, endless snow. The team finally reached the slopes of Kholat Shakal. And that night, none of them lived to see the morning. 13 days later, there was still no word. Families grew worried. Rescue teams set out on February 20th, and on the morning of February 22nd, they found a tent buried under snow. But this was no ordinary tent. It had been ripped open from the inside. Everything was still there. The stove, boots, clothes, everything. But the people were gone. Rescuers followed the footprints leading into the dark forest. At the end of those tracks, they found 2 bodies, half naked, frozen under a tree, burnt branches in their hands as if they'd tried to start a fire. A bit further, they found Igor Dyatlov's body, his arms reaching toward the trees, as if struggling to rise one last time. Zenaida and Rustem were found nearby, frozen while trying to return to camp. They were barely dressed, as if they'd fled the tent in panic. But why? The remaining 4 bodies were found only in May, when the snow finally melted. And that's when the real horror began. Thibault's skull was completely shattered. Dubinina's chest was crushed and her tongue torn out. Zolotaryov's ribs were broken and Kolovatov had strange wounds on his neck. The autopsy report read, "The injuries were caused by a force unknown to man," and the case was swiftly closed. Official explanation: death by freezing and an unknown force. But what was that force? Years later, when the files were reopened, hidden details emerged. Some of the bodies contained traces of radiation. Their skin had turned orange. Their clothes showed burn marks and metallic sheen. But the most chilling part was what they had written in their journals. February 9th, 8:45 p.m. We saw something strange, a fireball rising from the mountain base into the sky. Some photos showed glowing orbs in the night sky. The Mansi people believed these lights were the souls of the restless dead, but the engineering students believed in science, not spirits. And yet, what they saw that night was beyond science. Over the years, theories multiplied. A Soviet military experiment gone wrong, radiation exposure, a UFO encounter, or the curse of the Dead Mountain. In 2019, a new investigation suggested an avalanche and infrasound theory, low-frequency wind vibrations that can induce panic and terror in the human brain. But that still couldn't explain the broken bones, the missing tongue, or the radiation. Even today, nothing grows at Dyatlov Pass. Birds avoid the area, and at night, strange lights are said to drift across the snow. Maybe nature never forgot that night. Maybe the mountain still remembers. Dyatlov Pass remains a mystery, and some mysteries prefer to stay buried. This story was told by Shadowed Tales. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't get lost in the dark. See you in the next episode.